Welcome to Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. I'm Steve Swatt with the Sacramento Report. In the next few minutes, we're going to talk about one of the most controversial pieces of legislation from last year dealing with childhood vaccinations and when we might expect to see some real impact. My guest this segment is Dr. Richard Pan, a member of the State Senate from Sacramento. Thanks for being with us, and author of this legislation.
Thank you, Steve.
So unless you were living under a rock, you had to know about this piece of legislation. It was very controversial. The committee hearings were packed. There were even death threats. It was quite a scene, but your legislation did pass.
Yes, it did. I'd say that while there was certainly a lot of activity around this bill, there's certainly no controversy about the science and the good public health behind it.
And in a nutshell, the science says what?
The science says that vaccines are safe and they're effective, and that we need to get a higher percentage of people vaccinated in our neighborhoods to be sure that we protect all of us from preventable diseases like measles, polio, whooping cough, and others.
You do recognize, I'm sure, that some people, though, have some real health concerns about this, given side effects, shall we say.
Well, certainly there's been a lot of misinformation spread about vaccines. The myth that vaccines cause autism is one that's been purported based on a fraudulent study and other misconceptions about vaccines. It is important that people learn about the truth about vaccines and about the diseases they prevent. Measles is a serious disease. The measles outbreak that began in Disneyland actually hospitalized 20 people. In fact, there's a person who died of measles up in the state of Washington last year. So we need to take these diseases seriously, and by getting our children vaccinated when they're at school, we'll make our children safer at school and all of us safer in the communities.
And so this legislation removed a loophole.
Correct,
right?
Yes. So it removed a loophole called the personal belief exemption. That is now gone, and starting next school year, children will need to either have a medical exemption or they will need their child vaccinated for them to attend schools.
So your legislation has been implemented, but it's new. Do you have any anecdotal information that the vaccination rate is going up, or people are seeing this in a different
Actually, we
light?
have statistics to show that the discussion last year, I think, educated people about the importance of vaccination, and we've seen vaccine rates go up in the state of California this particular school year. We expect they'll continue to go up next year as a result of this legislation.
Okay, I want to segue to another issue that you're dealing with right now, and that's with the use of tobacco in places near where children may congregate. And I know this is a piece of proposed legislation that was brought to you by an 8th grade class.
Yes, the 8th graders did their work. They researched the issue, and they said that when we go play sports, it's about our health, right? Physical activity, good health habits. We shouldn't have a bad health habit, the use of tobacco, in the same area. That is not something that promotes good health. And so they proposed to me a bill that would ban the use of tobacco within 250 feet of a youth sporting event.
It's interesting because I know they're going to be lobbying for this bill throughout the year, but they're going to come up against a tobacco industry that quite often gets its way at the Capitol.
Well, I'm very excited that they want to engage in the democratic process. They have a great idea. They've done work on it. They're going to continue to work on this idea, to talk to legislators, to talk to their family and friends about how important it is to be sure that we promote healthy habits for our youth through sports, and that we not have unhealthy habits like tobacco use going on at the same time in the same venues.
Well, it's going to be an interesting debate moving forward. We're certainly going to follow its progress. Dr. Pan, thanks for coming by and talking to us about this and also your vaccination legislation.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thanks to our viewers also for watching Time Warner's Local Edition. You can see this interview and other interviews on YouTube, on My Government on Demand, also on the California channel. I'm Steve Swatt.